Welcome everybody to Your World or Mine. Show me yours and I'll show you mine. And in our last podcast, I was in the fortunate seat that I could actually interrogate Harriet about her world a little bit. But today I'm in the hot seat. So Harriet's going to return the favor today, and who knows what's going to happen here today. So over to you, Harriet.
Thank you, Hannelie. It's such a wonderful time to be here in this playful open space to share our worlds. And when you said about that you will show me yours and how did it go? And I will show you mine. But then I started to kind of switch this yours and mine and thinking of this, that yes, we might assume that we know each other's worlds, but do we really know? What is the world you are carrying inside you? And I'm looking so forward to explore this together with you now. Thinking about that, what you said to me when you invited me to this dialogue of sharing what is going on in our worlds, you were kind of coming into a completely new space. You said that you have come here to do something and to learn something from life on earth. And I am really intrigued to hear about that why have you come here at this moment in time?
Now you see, as I said in the previous podcast, I come from a different universe and reality. And it's really, why I'm here is to share about different possibilities. So maybe new ways of being, relating, creating, playing like we do now, engaging with each other, co-creating with others, whatever it might be. Maybe models of understanding, because our models of understanding determines how we experience. But our world, in my reality, in my universe, we're really interested for this cross-pollination between realities, worlds, and universes. And I know people sometimes use these three in the same in the same way. They say they think that the world and the universe and the reality is the same thing. But from our perspective, where I come from, it might be different for different people, and that's okay. So it's really this heartfelt desire to share joy with your world and the other worlds and the other realities, and to share experiences with people where they kind of humans, that they kind of have a feeling of what this is really about for us from our perspective. And me just telling you about will not really give you much of it, because I can tell you long stories, but for us it's about giving people an experience, that they can feel that in all their cells, and that it's real, and that it's here and now. And the one thing about our reality is that we don't have something like past, present, and future. For us, it's all one and the same. And we have access to, the things that happened before this moment, but we also have access to all the infinite possibilities of what's to come. So it's all at the same time. So we can.
But then how do you choose between all these infinite possibilities? I mean, if it's infinite, the word infinite is for us humans now, it's like we don't know how to. It's too much. It's too much. We are maybe kind of able to look at this reality. But when you say infinite, can you describe that a little bit more?
It's all intelligences that's out in the universe and other multi-universes for that matter, which we have access to first. So we must first learn how to access it. And it's actually not learning, it's discovering it, because we are all very different. Like where I come from and where you come from, where other people and humans come from, it's very different. The place for where we originate from, inside of ourselves, is very different for each other. So for us, the only way to really understand that is to experience parts of other realities. And then you go into a process where you start tuning into that and feeling, does it really resonate with me? And what part of it do I want to bring into my experience? And what parts I want to exclude? Because we understand our own power to be able to do that. And we refer to it much as embodiment. So there's very different ways. We have very different interesting ways to play. We've got things which we call sensemaking, for example, ideal doing, We've got all fun stuff like that we play.
And you have now been able to try those things out already, as I have understood.
Yeah, we use it every day. We play with it in whatever context. So we create the context, so whatever context it might be, whether it's people learning, education, people in business, people in politics, it doesn't matter. People just, human beings living every day. So we create the context and then we allow it to unfold. So all these wonderful ways we play with. Because we might sometimes not immediately make a decision in that moment. We might want to experience and explore more. So that's where curiosity comes in. For us, it's curiosity and wonder is a big part of our beingness. We want to find out, what is that about? Let me sense into it and feel into it, not just hear about it, but really sense into it. And we share many, many different types of senses. Not only the 5 that most humans think they have, but extra sensory abilities as well. That we can feel, does this now resonate with me? Do I feel good about this? And then we also have learned that something might resonate with us, but it's not aligned with what we came to do. So we might have a taste of that, and then we experience something, and then we it's not aligned with what we are bringing. Like, for instance, this joy. It's not contributing to that and helping us to expand that experience. But for us, it's most about us, that we are the creators of our own realities. And we have preferences. So we can change these preferences whenever we want to. So maybe I go into a completely strange environment and experience something there. And yes, I want to discover more. So I go in for a little while longer. Then I decide what I want to bring into my experience, so what I really want to take in. And that we have many different ways to assist humans and other beings from other galaxies and universes to go through that process. There's a whole process that we have in our reality, that we take people through, they can experience it themselves. So I'm not telling them about it,
Yeah, but when you talk about embodied, you talked about that, embodied, and people help to sense. So how would you say now, if you look at the humans now on this earth, on our earth here, that how are they doing with these senses? How much are they using their senses at the moment, and how embodied are they in their reality?
So now you must also realize it's my perception of it. So it's not necessarily the truth.
No.
Because my truth is not everybody else's truth. And how I see and experience it is because of my perspective and my experience. And having said that, from my experience, playing with a lot of humans in different contexts, so it's not all the same, different contexts, is humans don't even touch on 10% of those senses. Because
only 10%?
Not even. Currently, humans are using mostly their conceptual, so their perceptive in the way of visual and auditory senses. Because of technology, wonderful things that came into this reality that we are speaking about now. But it created also that some humans have denied some of the other senses or never learned how to stimulate and ignite them. It's like a muscle. If you don't exercise it, it won't become strong. And it's the same thing. So certain senses like seeing, visual, and hearing, because of auditory, and which technology like it is doing with us now, allows us, but not the other senses. And the other intelligences as well, because with the senses go other intelligences. For example, in my experience, human beings only use a small part of their body's intelligences. They think it's only the mind, the brain.
Yeah.
And it's not. Every single cell has memory and it has an intelligence. And in my world, we play with 42 intelligences when we play with young people.
Oh, and so you want to play more with young people to help them to kind of activate all those intelligences?
Yes, and when I say the word young, I must actually say it very quietly, because here we don't refer to that.
No.
We speak about those who's been here longer, which in other realities they would call older or more mature. But I personally prefer to play with those who haven't been here so long, because they came in with very different information into this world. They have activated very different parts of all the intelligences and parts of their brain as well. For people like, we've been here longer, like 10 to 50 to 40, 50, 60 years ago, very different scenarios. And in our world, we also don't have this generational thing because we don't speak about age that way.
No, in your world, there is no age, isn't that so?
There's no age, it's timeless. It's all about your awareness and how you've developed your awareness and the embodiment then of what you experience. And
but what does that mean for the body then? Because we are so concerned in our world here about the aging of the body, and what do you say to that?
Well, what I say to that is there's a lot of conditioning that sends people, and I mean it's happened throughout eternity, that industries were born out of fear. You know, like my body's going to dissolve, disappear, so I must take care of it. Of course I must take care of it, yes, it's my house in this reality. But it's that when my soul and my spirit is really at its peak, when it has the full capacity to co-create and to blossom and to thrive, we don't age that easily. From the body's perspective, the body stays active much longer. If we move, if we just breathe more deeply, for example, it's a very simple thing, but it affects our state of being. So we speak about state of being, of which the body is one part. So for us, the body-mind, heart connection and the spirit's connection is the most important because they all play together. And I know lots of research has been done on Earth about that in the world currently, about this body-mind. So it's not just a woo thing, you know, it's real.
No, it's real. We are
real.
And I can really sense your vitality now, Hannelie, about, you know, you are really embodying this at the moment. So I really start to believe in this other world that you are bringing in. So what if we would listen and sense into this now together?
Well, that would be wonderful because currently my whole body wants to vibrate because you're speaking the things that's very important to us because we're a collective intelligence. I'm just part of that. So I never feel alone because I'm part of this bigger intelligence and this bigger consciousness, this wave. And my body now responds to that because I mean, I feel it all around me. So that would be wonderful.
That would be wonderful. Let's take a moment of quietness to sense in what is now happening here between us, between Finland and South Africa, physically, but energetically, what is happening here and now?
complete ecstasy. And it's free. It doesn't cost anything, any money or any resources. It's just absolute ecstasy. And the energy and the information that's suddenly rushing in through this joint, I don't even have a word for it to explain it, but through this joint rendezvous, this joint rendezvous, it has so many infinite expressions that wants to go out into whoever's worlds, and a very strong message of don't be afraid to explore and experience other realities. Know that one has the power and the abilities to discern for yourself what you want to take into your experience or not, what you actually want to feel. Because experience is much about feeling into your whole being. It's like all your cells starts vibrating, celebrating from joy. But what I was seeing during this process was this vision of a womb of creation. That something new wants to be birthed. And it is the joy generation. The young people in some of the realities in the world are hopeless. They don't have any hope. They think the universe is against them. They think they're alone, misunderstood. And this joy generation really now, at this moment in time, wants to birth into this world, like burst into being. And sharing experiences with those who've been here for a long time, but more over for those who haven't been here a long time. The abilities and igniting in them their inner genius and their creative potential, their creator energy, that they can create their own realities, that they can surround themselves with the right people that will support and nourish them along the way, and that they will find their place in the bigger picture, in the bigger whole, and feel good about it, and blossom, and flourish, and thrive, and stay curious and in wonder all the time. And to visit other realities, and just feel it, make sense and experience. And if you don't like it, you go out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's as simple as it is. It's a choice. It's a preference. Yeah. Nothing is as it seems to be. There's always another layer to be undercover that we can discover and review. That's what came through when I was...
Oh, that sounds so beautiful, that womb of creation, that giving birth to a new reality here on earth.
Yes.
And for me, it came up, I was like in that womb of creation, and it was all a yellow, infinite, huge space where we are inviting to joy. We are inviting to joy. And it was like, yeah, come on over here, come on, more and more people, come in here. And it's a new reality, as you say. And maybe that then reality will become a new world, a new way of being here, so that it will then, the old will, you know, transform, or it will be left behind in a way. But it happens with this ecstasy, like you say, it happens in an energetic way. That's how this real change will take place on earth, when you describe it like that.
You know, for us, we don't see this as a change. We just see it as another reality. So the old one can still be there, or the other ones can still be there.
Yeah.
It's just a new one, and people decide by themselves, I want to join that one. I want to experience that one.
Yeah.
And I want to co-create with the others in that one. And I want to relate with the others in such a joyful way that, because if something doesn't give us joy, we simply don't do it. And joy is not the opposite of sadness, and happiness and sadness are for us opposites. But in our world, we don't have opposites even. We just have a state of being, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
So it's a both and world. So both are there. You could choose from both, but it's not an either or world of this one or that one. So this whole thing about contradictions and paradoxes does not exist in our reality, because we create our own reality. So how can there be a contradiction?
Oh, it's always here. And I sense the wholeness when you speak about it. And that is what you want to bring into the world through the Joy Rendezvous and bringing the joy generation and inviting especially people who have been here for a shorter time, let's say so, in embodiment of the soul and the spirit, then they can come into this new reality immediately, because they seem to, as you say, they seem to have the skills to do it also. They are equipped maybe with more sensible skills even than we, the ones who have been here, and also who have, you know, have to look back to what has happened here on earth. So you bring really hope, Hannelie, from your reality.
Now, we would prefer to say our reality, because it's a team thing, this thing, the whole universe. Yeah, the whole universe has prepared us for this way. And for everything that's happened, that these young ones in that language has come in with different skills and abilities. We call it sensibilities.
Yes.
And they make very different connections between things than people who've been here longer. So they're making new connections. That's how they innovate these days. There's so much amazing things that happened during the last 100 years because of that, in relation to what happened the previous 1,000 years. So it's because they came in with very different sensibilities. So firstly, the misunderstanding between generations will start to disappear when we begin to recognize that those who came in recently, we can say it in that way, brought in very different things into the world, which is wonderful.
We can learn from them so much then.
From both sides.
Yes.
From both sides. From both sides.
Also that we learn from the youngsters. We used to have this culture to always look up to the elders, but now we can also in the same way learn from everybody, which is, this is the free space. And would you mind sharing about what are your thoughts? How will you do this in practice with the Joy Rendezvous?
And with the Joy Rendezvous, we have a whole journey which we share with beautiful people on earth. It's a year journey. The Joy Rendezvous as itself is a year journey. Many amazing things happen during that journey because we travel across the globe. So 320 days around the world. We couldn't do it in 80 days. Sorry, Passepartout.
Oh.
And Jules Verne, we couldn't do it in 80 days. It's just too much to experience. So it's a year journey around the world, visiting 5 continents, beautiful places on earth. But there's many, many amazing parts of this whole journey. They get to experience and participate in impact projects in different communities all over the world. They get to create and co-design a new concept that will change the way humans perceive life. Now that's very exciting.
Wow.
They also get to co-create and co-narrate a new narrative for the world, a new story, as I go from each continent to the other continent. They also get to meet amazing, extraordinary people all over the world, very interesting people. They also get to meet their peers, like-hearted peers in other continents, engage with them and become part and co-weave a new network for themselves. But they can launch into the world after that with lots to support them, what's called ecosystems and co-working spaces and co-creative spaces, more importantly, all across the world, different cultures that they get to engage with. Also with the business world, as we speak about it today. There's so many parts to this, it's just amazing. But the most important part for me is the biggest show on earth, which they will actually perform in each place. And what they do is they use the skills and abilities that they ignited within themselves and all these experiences, the relationships they built, to create and design a show that they will present on each continent. So it will not be the same show on every continent. Everyone will be different because there will be more that they have to share.
Yeah, and that's why I also it will grow into more and more.
More and more and more and more, yes. And different people will be involved from the communities as well, and from the people that they will visit and which they will engage with. So that's simplistically that the Joy Rendezvous. But there's 2 other parts, because we know not everybody can have this luxury of going around the world for a year. the other parts are, which we call the Wheel of Fortune. So that's a 21-day adventure, a physical adventure in different parts of the world, which young people can attend. So there they will discover all this inner genius of themselves and the creative potential, the skills that they need these days to thrive, like self-organizing, self-generating, self-adjusting, self-presencing intelligences, for example, which is very important today in the world that we live in, and the virtual reality that they live in. So that they have access to. And then the other part is a 3-month online journey called Slide. So it's all about fun. It's all about fun. And on the 3-month online journey, they also get to also connect to other peers across the globe, that they can co-weave these relationships. They also get to meet interesting people in a 3-month experience. And together with the three, they connect also to the same type of mesh work of these young people, this joy generation birthing. So they can connect into that, cross-pollinate, share their joy, share their challenges, not reinventing the wheel, but creating a coherence platform for them all to engage with, wherever they are. So it doesn't matter where they are in the world, they can actually have that infusion of inspiration and different ways of looking at the world. We find it fascinating that some people want to create a new world, but they've never visited some other parts of the world. So it's like, why? You haven't even been you told me you've been on every continent, into every country and city. That's a different story. But we have so many people in the world who does amazing things. It's wonderful. But they think they know what the others need and what the others want.
Yeah, so, but that seems to be one of the traits now of human beings, that we are not really aware of that we should go out and look for other worlds, that they are already here.
They're already here, and we can then bring the best parts in for ourselves through this co-creative efforts. And the main thing is for these young people for that joy factor of them to come from inside, because it's something from inside.
Yes.
Through this expression of their soul, because they are so creative. And we have to mention that creativity and artistic is not the same thing. And a lot of people think when you speak about creative potential, you speak about being a painter or a writer or a sculptor or a dancer, but it's not. Just being here is creative. The way we speak is creative. Getting up in the morning is creative. Lifting our arm is creative, because it's the way we do life. That's how we refer to it.
Yeah, it's about our relationship to life, that I am creating every day, and I am a creator of my own reality, and I can invite others into the reality. And like you said, if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't add to the joy, then allow that to be and focus on the joy.
And we have something that I would like to share that I think is it's for us amazing. Let that which wants to come with ease. Let that which wants to go and which needs to leave with joy.
So leave with joy,
And let that which wants to stay with exuberance. That when we have to leave things, whether it's our own thoughts or our own behavior and patterns, we let it go with joy. It served its purpose. There's no need to cry about it or to feel sad about it.
No, and to let go is, for us who have been longer here, maybe the most important skill, so that we can open up for this joy generation. And although we have a lot of stuff that might disturb it, we can learn it. We can learn joy also in whatever age you are. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I think what you're saying now is true. It's very true in our experience, obviously from our perspective. It is what those who've come before do not realize is that these seeds of the young ones that's here today was birthed through them. So it is trusting the plant that you've seeded. When we sow a plant, seed outside, or a tree, or whatever it is, we trust nature to take care of it. The sun, the rain, and yes, we're nurturing it. We take out the weeds. But we never ever worry about what this flower will look like, but we do it with our younger people. We want to shape them according to what we are about or what we've experienced ourselves. Instead of knowing that we were actually the gardener for this new garden to open up and grow. It's just a different garden. There's many gardens, there are many gardens in the world, most magnificent.
But what we could do is just show them a lot of love and appreciation that, wow.
And hold the space for them and guide them. When we speak to those who came recently, they want the guidance, not telling how to do stuff, but the guidance. And showing them that they're safe and that they're accepted and recognized for who they are without them having to perform for something.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So recognize who they are. Recognize they have other gifts that we're not even aware of.
No.
So in this journey, the Joy Rendezvous, we don't teach people. We're not teachers. We are guiders. We guide. And we share what we've learned and the experiences, obviously, but to ensure they're safe and that they have the freedom and the comfort to express themselves in whatever way they want to.
And I can imagine, Hannelie, that the results from this, how do you envision the results? What concretely will come out of that 1-year journey, those 3 months when you are ready? So what are the fruits coming out from this juicy adventure?
From this joy adventure, firstly, because it's so experiential and impactful as they do the journey, because they're already creating impact wherever they go, because they are involved in these impact projects all over the world, because they engage with communities already. That impact can be seen very, very soon after, because they, firstly from their own point of view and then in the bigger community, the imprint that they came to make. For them personally, it prepares them for life. But it prepares them for life not in the way of textbooks and tests and things like that. It's they really become to know who they are and what this creative potential inside them is about. And how they start seeing to find their place in the world after. Because they meet all these interesting people, they go to these beautiful, interesting places. And they really engage life. We like to say they're having intercourse with life itself and existence itself through the process. That empowers them. That when they then, after the year, they can now, because even during the last part of it, they start to co-create between themselves. Like I said, they designed that specific concept that I was speaking about earlier. They're doing some very other creative things together as well, creative projects. But there already they start to find their place in this world because now they know what this world is about from different perspectives, in very different contexts. So they make decisions then out of experience, not because something they've seen on television or on the internet, or they heard somebody else speak about, but it's a direct experience for themselves to uncover. But this is my part in this bigger picture. That's the last part of the last month of the process is about their place in this bigger picture, where they discover that themselves.
And to share these experiences also for the bigger audiences.
And now the other thing that I didn't mention about, thank you that you remind me of that now, is that they then have to go and share whatever it is they've experienced through this year with other young people. And they become, like, not ambassadors, because the ambassador just speaks. They really become, not even evangelists, I don't even have a name for it, but for the following group that comes the following year, they will be like assistants and guides as well. Because they've already gone through it themselves. And they've done it firsthand, so it's not just because they heard something, or they listened to a podcast, or they watch something on television, a documentary. So they will then be the assistants, traveling with the others if they have that possibility, or giving mentoring online. Because these days with technology, they don't have to be in the same place, then they can mentor some of them. And during this first journey as well, the first ones now, they will also have very interesting mentors across the globe, which they can choose from. If they have their own ones, they can get them on board, but again, that will be online. It will not be physical.
That sounds really inspiring.
That can hold their hands through the process whenever needed, or give them guidance when they go through a process where they really feel they want somebody from external, not from within the group. But we also tap into the collective intelligence, and they also learn how to tap into their future memories, which is something we never learned about as humans. And we thought things like that is weird, but it's as natural as me and you speaking now. And to tap into the collective wisdom that's available to them through the sense-making process, for example. There are other processes as well. There's just a few to mention.
Oh, it sounds like a rich, well of opportunities and possibilities. So I really, my heart, deeply from my heart, I wish all the best for this journey. It's such a blessed journey. And,
but we need people like yourself, humans like yourself, with like-hearted people who wants to be part of some other way.
I love being part of this journey, I must say. I love it deeply.
We cannot do this alone. We do it.
No,
there's a whole team of people. It's a whole group of people.
What do you need now for this journey to happen? Physically, when we talk about material-wise, resource-wise, what do you need now, and when do you start the journey?
Well, we anticipate to start the journey in September this year. The whole plan is worked out, but we know in the universe you can't work according to plans. So we are also in flow, whatever emerges and whatever unfolds, we align ourselves through that. But the biggest resources at the moment is to getting like-hearted people like yourself involved on some other level. And to obviously, for us, the dream is that young people do not have to fund this by themselves for the first leg. There's a trick to this. For the first leg of the experience. And what do I mean by that? It's just to pay their being part of the process, plus their first flight to the next adventure in another place. Because with their skills, they're going to be immediately able to use their skills to get their passage to the next one.
Oh, that sounds, yes.
So what the resources we currently need, and I'll ask the universe now if I'm allowed to say this in this way, with a lot of respect, is people who in any way want to contribute to this financially, for example, who want to adopt a JOY Rendezvous, for example, for whatever it is they want to contribute to. Maybe it's an organization who wants to sponsor the flights. Maybe it's an organization who wants to sponsor their accommodation, wherever we are. Or maybe just in a specific area as well. That's also good. But most importantly, it's for them just to make their first leg of the trip. So to get to the first point where we start, where we launch from, and then from there to fly to the next one. Or by train. We will travel by train, boat, horse. And don't be afraid of the horse part for those of you who don't like horse riding. By feet. We have so many different ways of transport. So there's many ways to go to Rome. That's what we believe. And as we adjust ourselves very easily, that's where we start using our self-adjusting intelligence.
Yes,
we go with the flow, we see where the resources are.
Yeah.
And what's the most easiest way of doing it, so the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
But for us, it's also some other people who just want to hold us through this process. So there are so many roles people can play. We're just holding this group of young people. And forgive me, young people, speaking about you like that, but that's what it's really about. And then the direct, providing direct resources which we will need along the way. But the most important part for us is the ones who starting to being these pioneers of the joy generation. It's those who feel it in themselves. It's not just anybody. It's a group of people, young people who wants to be the joy generation themselves.
Yes, of course, they have to be themselves, and that is the embodiment of that joy generation, which will then spread all over the world. It sounds like a fantastic vision. Yeah.
So that's for us where we are now. And the 3-month online one is already available. We are busy with scheduling the 21-day experiences as well, for wherever we have the requirement from young people. I hopefully will be traveling to the Nordic countries in 2 weeks, and we might just start the first 21-day one in an intensive, like over a 5-day intensive, to give people an experience that they can just have the feeling if they want to then go into the longer ones.
Oh, like a teaser, inviting
like
them.
A teaser, yeah. To have a real experience of, so it's like you say, it's a teaser. Just a taste of it to see if this is really for them and if they really want to be part of the joy generation.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hannelie, for sharing this fantastic world and the whole universe for the joy generation.
And we are all part of the joy generation.
Yeah, we are.
My personal, and this is my personal perspective and experience, is that our bodies have about 7 trillion cells. How many people are on the planet?
Well, how many billion are we now?
Yeah,
9?
yeah. I don't know, but just in that sense, each one is, I carry a cell in my cells, every human being on this planet. I have 7 trillion cells. So every single human being on this planet is part of me, in my body. So we are actually soul parts. And when we start to consider that possibility, life changes.
Yeah, it's a huge insight.
Yeah. And it's a possibility in another reality. It's a possibility. It's not so far-fetched. And then you start feeling, relating, engaging with people in a very different way.
Yeah, it is this famous word oneness, which is now cultivated in many groups and environments. But really the sensing it, the feeling it, and living from that kind of state of being, like you said. But
just for a moment, sorry that I interrupt you there so rudely, but just for a moment, imagine I'm one of your cells.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
But what would that feel like? And vice versa. And when we start playing with that already by itself, it's like, whoa.
Whoa, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Look at you. Tomorrow morning, I have to tell you, don't wake up so early. Because you're waking me up.
So we have to become really aware of what are we putting out there into the whole.
Yeah, and then what we presence, and our place in the whole.
Yeah.
And how we are, and there's the way of being. But it's natural, it's joyful, it's spontaneous. A lot of this is spontaneous, like we breathe.
Yeah.
It's like we breathe.
Yes, it's very basic.
It's very basic, it happens spontaneous, it's the same type of thing. But have you ever considered the possibility like that? That you are carrying Donald Trump in your cells?
Even that.
But you see, it takes us away from judging and comparing, because everybody came to play, in our perspective, came to play a role in the history and her story of the world. Whatever, we might not like it, but it had to happen, whatever it is. And and I don't want to play that role, thank you very much. So why would we then have to judge it? We might not agree with it. It's not our preference. And we don't want to be part of such a reality or whatever. I'm not talking about Mr. T now, I'm just saying in general. But it's just funny when you start actually considering it.
It opens up the reality, yes.
Exactly, exactly. But it shows you that wholeness and oneness and sameness is not the same thing.
No.
We see sameness and oneness as the same thing, that everybody must be the same. Harmony is not between same things, it's between different things.
Yeah, unique things.
Yeah, different things, all playing part of a bigger picture, without which the others can't be part of. But now we're judging 1 or 2, 3 people that we don't resonate with. But why? Well, why do we care? We must just be the creators of our own realities.
Exactly, that's our main point.
And that's I think what the people who is coming recently has such a wonderful way of expressing and creating, that it's not about changing governments or people. It's about me creating my reality and deciding what I want to bring into my reality.
Yeah. Yeah, we can choose. We have the choice, as you said when we started to share this playful environment here. We have the choice what we can bring in here and what we co-create here in this amazing field. tapping into the limitless possibilities and having a real choice.
And that by itself is empowering for lots of people to have that understanding and to really experience it truly for themselves, not just hearing about it.
No,
but
no.
truly experiencing that the universe is not against you, that you're not alone, you are part of something much bigger. There's a whole team behind you, you just don't realize it, but you have to embrace and accept it, and believe it.
And believe it, and receive it.
And receive it. So we're not creating by ourselves. So when young people create their livelihoods, they don't do this by themselves. But it's a very different reality from the previous ones. It's a very different realities where there was this boss and employee thing. Now it's a different world.
Yeah, exactly. And they will start learning it, and they will show us some really amazing things, I believe.
Yeah, and they will show us how to relate to each other in the future and how to engage.
Yeah. And how to share.
And how to share freely, and to also go into the reality of, because I have this creative power and the ability to discern for what I should bring into my experience or not, that I also have the same power to manifest. Something we've never learned about either.
No.
And we co-manifest with others and the universe and nature. I'm just delighted. Thank you, Harriet. It's like putting the ocean in a teacup.
Yes.
It is like that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.